All right, we should be live. Stand by here for a second. Yeah, we should be live. So this will be cool. I don't know who's out there, but this is Robert Bassano, Robert Shortman. You guys know my motto. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? So today we're gonna do a short one. No pun intended, Robert Shortman. I said short one, not Robert Shortman. But today's title of this brief hangout is called Layman's Perspective on Reality. I was going through some I put out, and I noticed something on one of the software programs I had pulled up, and it was interesting, man. And what Robert and I are going to show you today, because we were looking over this and we just thought it was funny. We got video commentary proof to back it up from one of the top theoretical physicists on the planet. Theoretical physics. There's a few things we're actually going to show you guys. We're going to show you something also from NASA where we think they may have screwed up. And we don't mean screwed up like in a minor way, but in a factual way, where we might be able to show you where there's more land on the earth, okay? And it's in real time. So when you upload the software program, it actually shows you real-time view of it, okay? So let me mute this music here in the background. But what we're going to show you today is a layman's perspective of reality. Before we show this to you, what we're going to show you is this, is that according to science, okay, whatever the hell that may be, we have a limited technical capability of what we can see on a microscopic scale, okay? Meaning that we can only see things, observe things at small level, that anything beyond that is just theoretical, okay? We can't even confirm the shit even exists. So when we show you this actual illustration, I'm gonna pause it in the middle of it to show you guys something that I need you to pay attention to. And then we're gonna keep going through the presentation and show you the reality. If we can't see things beyond a specific point here on Earth, what fucking makes you think we can see anything point, but on a positive scale, out beyond our atmospheres, okay? So what I'm gonna do right now, because I'm not gonna be paying attention to chat, I'm gonna do this presentation for you guys. This is gonna be funny. And it was so obvious. It's like here we are looking for all these, you know, detailed technical documentation to show you guys all this, to break it down for you. And when in reality, you know, to coin a phrase, this shit's right there in front of us, man.
Let me know.
I mean, it's just,
let me know
it's
when
out
you screen share, Robert, and then I'll let you know that it's come up as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting ready to do that. Cool. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do that right now. I'm getting ready to do that right now. So I'm gonna pull this up for everybody. I want everyone to see this shit because it's funny as hell. Okay. Let me know when you can see everyone can see the screen, Robert.
Yep.
Everyone can see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this is a software program. It was put up by 2 MIT students. Okay. I think they're master's and PhD level students, but the title of this application is called Scale of the Universe. All right. Anybody who's got an iPhone, you can go to Apple iStore and download this damn thing so you can see it for yourself. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Okay. Before I play this, I want you to you're going to listen to Dr. James Gates. Dr. James Gates is actually a physics professor at the University of Maryland. I tried to call this guy, left a message, sent him emails. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. He's just probably so busy going around the country and around the world, continuing to push the bullshit that he doesn't even believe in, okay? Which is kind of ironic. But what I want you to pay attention to right now is I want you to see where we're starting from. We're starting from 10 to the minus 35.0. That's 35 fucking zeros right of the decimal point, okay? Not left of the decimal point, but right of the decimal point. So that's 0.35 zeros, 10, okay? That's how small a Planck length is. That's what they claim how small it is. That's what they're theorizing how small a Planck length is. But I want you to listen to Dr. James Gates when he tells us what our capabilities are to see anything, okay? And what the level of what that level is, okay? So stand by here for a second. Let me play this for you so you can all hear it. All right, here we go.
Basis. Well,
listen.
Well, first of all, we have to understand genetic here quotes, because obviously there aren't going to be cells out there giving rise to reality. But something rather similar to a code is really going to be our ultimate code. So I want to talk to you about this strange code that research that I've been working on. So let's begin by taking a journey. We'll go down in size. We're going to do this by powers of 10. Each mark on this image represents a power of 10, 10 times smaller than the previous one. So we're going to speed up at the beginning, going very fast past a lot of interesting chemistry, biology, condensed matter, and slow down at blood cells at around 10 to the minus 5. These are newly representations of newly emerging blood cells. They still have their nuclei intact as they leave the bone marrow. At 10 to the minus 9, we encounter strands of DNA. That's what it's all about, learning how to read the code. And in fact, there's a code buried here, and this code we can think of as a book of life. This is what the code sort of looks like. If you actually were able to read off strands of DNA, you find out it's sequences of letters A, T, G, and C. These actually stand for adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, which are the base pairs that appear in the double helix as discovered by the Watson and Crick some years ago. The DNA, of course, is really interesting because it also, in addition to being a book of life, it's a book also of human history. DNA has revealed a wonderful story about how we are all intimately related to each other. Coming out of Africa some couple of 100,000 years ago and watching waves of humanity go out and populate the world. And so I like to say philosophers have been for millennia saying that all of us are brothers and sisters, but now we scientists can say it with much more force and vigor and with much more explicit knowledge than has ever been humanly possible before. That's the power of science to tell us who we are. So DNA doesn't stop the story. We can go to smaller scales. At 10 to the minus 10, we enter the world of the atom. This is a representation of the clouds of electrons around a typical atom. And of course, the atom itself is an interesting story. Part of it we see in this symbol. I think of this as the Mona Lisa of science. Almost everybody in the world has seen this at some point in their life. And it's a little bit mysterious, like that smile on the Mona Lisa. And yet it's so familiar to us. And so chemistry, this table given to us by Mendeleev, was, in some sense, a major breakthrough for our species in understanding the place in which we live. There's a joke about Mendeleev and the Tsar. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I'll share it with you. Supposedly, at some point, gave Mendeleev a medal. And so I heard the story from Sergey Brin's father, who's a mathematician at the University of Maryland. And he said, so Jim, you know, the Tsar gave Mendeleev a medal. I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And he said, oh, yes. And I said, oh, the Tsar was so forward-looking. He said, oh, no. The medal was for the improvement in the distillation of water. We can continue to go down in size past the world of the atom. And about the time I was graduating from high school, this is a helium atom. We see two blue balls for protons, two pink ones for neutrons. And inside of these smaller balls, we see smaller pieces of matter. They're called quarks. They were discovered about the time I graduated from high school in 1969 through a series of experiments that were performed at the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center. They were called the Deep Inelastic Scattering Experiments. That's when we learned that inside protons, there are these little small objects, little balls inside a bag. And so you think of the proton as a bag, but these things inside are even smaller and more fundamental. At this 18, because 10 to the minus 18 is the limit of our technological prowess as a species. We have no devices that can measure anything that is smaller than this limit. And so as we journey in this talk to ever smaller scales, because we will, you have to understand that these smaller scales are not accessible to us through the normal means of science, which is experimentation and observation. And so when I talk to the public about this kind of science, I always try to make sure that people understand that after we leave this limit, we're talking about what we think is the case. Suppositions, propositions. But they're based not on wild guesses. They're based on a very powerful set of eyes, a set of eyes called mathematics.
Now I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to go back to what he said at 4 minutes and 1 second. He says our technological limit is at 10 to the minus 18. We can't see shit. We cannot observe anything and develop an experiment to prove it exists if it's beyond 10 to the minus 18. I'm gonna let you hit it one more time, and then I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Okay, we're gonna go back to 4 minutes and 1 second and hear what he said. Okay, listen again.
10 to the minus 18 is the limit of our technological prowess as a species. We have no devices that can measure anything that is smaller than this limit. We journey in this talk to ever smaller scales, because we will. These smaller scales are not accessible to us through the normal means of science, which is experimentation and observation. And so when I talk to the public about this kind of science, I always try to make sure that people understand that after we leave this limit, we're talking about what we think is the case. Suppositions, propositions. But they're based not on wild guesses. They're based on a very powerful set of eyes, a set of eyes called mathematics.
So I'll stop it right there. Everything we see that we assume exists beyond 10 to the minus 18 is based on proposition and supposition. What we think may be there.
Yep.
It cannot, he says there's no science or no technology that exists that allows us. We've reached our limit at 10 to the minus 18. Now, what everyone's looking at right here, right now, is 10 to the minus 35. So this shit here, quantum foams and strings, this is what they think is at this level. Almost twice the level below what we're capable of observing, okay? So I'm gonna go through this and show you guys how physics and how measurement, how our technological capabilities here on this planet. And by the way, that interview, that presentation was done in fucking 2012. Okay, 2012. Now, last I checked, and I'm heavily involved in advanced technology, supercomputing and high performance computing. And I'm gonna tell you here right now, I stay so up to date on this shit. There ain't nothing out there that exists right now or that was developed since 2012 that allows us to see anything beyond 10 to the minus 18. No fucking supercomputer, no supercomputer on the planet can observe anything and give you a simulation of what the fuck could be happening at beyond 10 to the minus 18. But we're gonna go through this, and I'm gonna show you guys something that is gonna blow your mind. Okay? Here we go. This is the experiment. All right? Hang on, let me give you guys a little bit of music here. Here we go. So here we go. Look down to the right-hand side. You'll see everything change from 10 to the minus 35 to 32. Keep going. And I'm going to show you something. You still can't see shit at this level. Now, I'm going to stop right there. These are neutrinos at 10 to the minus 24. Okay? 10 to the minus 24. That's 24 fucking zeros. According to NASA and every scientist out there who studies, okay, photonics and applied physics, material science, whatever it may be, whatever type of applied physics there may be, mechanical or classic, don't even have do not possess the ability to see neutrinos. We can't fucking see these things. This is just something we think may exist at this level, 10 to the minus 24. At this very moment, scientists claim that billions of neutrinos are being ejected from the sun at faster than speeds of light, faster than the speed of light. We talked about that in the last hangout we did, right? When we talk about superluminal signal transmission. Nothing is traveling at the speed of light. It's traveling way fucking faster than that. How fast? We don't fucking know. But scientists claim that neutrinos are traveling faster than the speed of light, billions of them, and they're screaming through the fucking layers of the atmosphere into the earth and right through your body as you listening to this hangout right now. You're listening to this broadcast and you got billions of neutrinos going through your building, your house, fucking concrete, steel, lead, whatever. That shit's going through your body right now into the ground. Billions of neutrinos. But they can never see these fucking things. They don't even know if they exist. Okay? They don't even know if they exist. Okay? But at 10 to the minus 24, this is what they're saying is going through our atmosphere right now. They're just guessing. He says they're not guessing, but he says that they can use fucking mathematics as eyes. Okay? They can't do the math. They can't do the math. I'm going to keep going. Here we go. That's a neutrino. Now keep going here. Hang on. High energy neutrino, bottom quark, charm quark, strange quark. Now I want to stop right there because at CERN, they claim that the smallest they can get to is a quark. But right now, we're at 10 to the minus 17.9. So let me go back a little bit. This is exactly where Dr. James Gates, the top theoretical physicist on this earth, okay? This is the guy who was writing about all this advanced shit. Guys, Brian Greene, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Nico Kaiku, all of these fucking guys. This guy wrote about code and strings back when he was when he graduated from MIT with his bachelor's pursuing his fucking PhD, okay? He wrote this paper over 20 years ago, I think 20 or 30 years ago. So everyone who's studying this shit now is basing it off what he wrote about. They still can't debunk what it is he's saying, all right? So he's saying that we only have the technological capability to view up quarks and down quarks and strange quarks. That's what they can do at CERN. Anything beyond this shit, okay, when we talk about 10 to the minus 19, or let's just say high energy quarks at 10 to the minus 20, we can't see that shit. We're just thinking that there has to be something else there. Now, when I went through my physics course, we were asked the questions in my physics course. Is there any other measurable matter? We keep splitting electrons and protons and neutrons to eventually we can get down to the smallest possible level of matter that is observable. And in the class, 23 other students was this. It's a possibility, but eventually you end up with something where you probably end up with fucking nothing. Because if you take a piece of paper and you keep cutting down that paper by half, by half, by half, by half, by half, by half, and you keep doing that shit, right? Let's just say it's a bright yellow piece of paper and you keep cutting it in halves. as best you can. You keep getting the finest tools you can get. Laser fucking laser cutting tools. You get it down to the nanoscale. You keep cutting it by half, by half, by half. Eventually, you'll get to the point to where you ain't even gonna be able to see the fucking thing to even cut it. So the question is, does it really exist? Okay, does it really exist? All right, you could say no, or you could say yes. There is no correct answer because you don't know. But at 10 to the minus 16, okay, let me go back here. Let me go back. At 10 to the minus 16.2, they are claiming that lengths shorter than this are not confirmed, meaning that if you go back beyond 10 to the minus 16, at 10 to the minus 17, you don't know what range of weak force is. They're saying that there's some sort of gravitational fucking force or some weak force that's keeping everything together. They don't fucking know. They don't know. That's the point of this.
Yep.
That's the fucking point of this shit. They say it right here, man. This is from MIT now. This ain't Robert Bassano and Robert Shortman. Lengths shorter than 10 to the minus 16.2 are not confirmed. They're just fucking guesses. This is what we think is beyond this point. We don't know. And if we keep going, and I'm gonna keep going. Here you go. Now you can start to see protons and neutrons and helium nucleus at 10 to the minus 14.7, right? Electrons, chlorine, uranium nucleus, right? 10 to the minus 13. You keep going. A picometer. Look at that. Gamma ray wavelengths at 10 to the minus 11. A helium atom, a hydrogen atom, 10 to the minus 10. Smallest thing visible, look at here. Look what they say. The smallest thing visible to an electron microscope is a hydrogen atom and helium atom, right? Now, Robert, you want me to pull up that paper?
Yep, I'll do that now.
Let me pull up that paper. I got it right here.
Yeah.
Where was that section at?
13.
Page 13?
Theoretical design and control and simulation.
Okay, let me go to page 13. Yeah, let me go to page 13. Let me make sure everybody can see that shit. Okay. Was it chapter 13?
Yep. Next one down, there we go.
Was it this?
That's 14, yeah. Go up, yeah.
Wait, which section was it?
Number 13.
Did I pass it? Hang on. Let me see where. Oh, it was 2.2. Theoretical design, control, and simulation?
That's the one, yep. 2.2.
Or scanning electron microscope?
Yep. 2.2.
3?
Section 13.
Or 2.2?
So it's 2.2.
Okay, 2.2. 2.2, okay.
Yeah.
Go to that.
So one more down.
Okay.
That's the one.
Section.
There we
go.
Which? That's the one. Yeah. So.
Okay. This is it. Okay. So here we go. According to based on this, on theoretical design, control, and simulation, since nano-robotic devices have not yet been fabricated, evaluating possible design and control algorithms requires the use of theoretical estimates in virtual environments. Sharma et al. Discussed the use of molecular dynamics simulation and virtual reality in the field of bio-nanotechnology to help better understand the complex biological structures and mechanisms at the nanoscale. Molecular dynamics simulation is performed to help predict the dynamic performance of biocomponents such as proteins. Molecular dynamic simulation can help gauge the feasibility of particular conformation shape of a biomolecule through energy constraints. All right, let's see. Where do they go here?
Next one down, they also mention it again.
Was it this one?
Yeah, even though artificial nanobots do not exist yet.
Yeah, even though artificial nanobots do not yet exist, some work has been done in the study of coordination and control of large numbers, swarms of nanorobots. Cavalcanti introduces a novel simulation approach intended for the research of nanorobot control design. The simulator allows for a virtual 3D graphical environment in which nanorobots can be placed and can interact with other nanorobots of their environment. The simulation locomotion of the nanorobots was based on concepts from underwater robotics, okay? And then he says that they expand this simulation framework to investigate the design and control of medical nanorobots in a simulated blood vessel to treat stenosis, all right? And again, remember, what this shit comes down to, when you talk about electron microscopy, all right? They're saying conventional scanning electron microscope can resolve down to the nanometer scale, equal to 2 nanometers, whereas a light microscope can only resolve down to 200 nanometers. So they're using, this is the limitation right here.
Yep.
Of what we can look at. All right. Here
Yep.
on Earth. Here on Earth. Here on Earth. So let me go back.
The rest of it's imaginary after that, pretty much.
Yeah, the rest of it, they're just thinking, okay, something's got to be there. We just don't know what it is. So as I keep going here, right, I keep going out. The smallest thing visible in an electron microscope is a hydrogen and helium atom, right? So we keep going. So there's a water molecule right there. We just keep going. Keep going. DNA visible at 10 to the minus. That's all right. We keep going. Ultraviolet wavelength at 10 to the minus 6. Violet light wavelength. A large virus can be seen at 10 to the minus 6. X chromosome 10 to the minus 5. White blood cells 10 to the minus 4.
They actually
Minus 4.
They actually had a nanobot in there. If you zoom in on that, that's quite incredible. I just noticed that. You zoom in, it's called something biophage. Yeah, it's like some type of nasty nanobot that they can put in people. If you zoom in, there it is on the right. There we go. That nasty sucker on the left, on the right.
Yeah.
Did you see him? They snuck that one in. Oh, they snuck.
Yeah, look at that
baby in. That thing up there. That's what they can use to put into people to do nasty shit. You know?
A bacteriophage. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a nanobot type thing. 10
to the minus 6.
Yep.
We keep going. Red blood cells 10 to the minus 5.
That's what they say. Do you know what I mean? And you know, if they're kind of theorizing on a lot of things, it's what else are they theorizing?
Look, the width of the human hair 10 to the minus 3. The thickness of paper 10 to the minus 3. A dust mite 10 to the minus 3. A grain of salt. Fucking ant 10 to the minus 2. A grain of rice, pentyl lead, coffee bean. Let's keep going. A penny 10 to the minus 1. Let's keep going. Human beings and giant earthworms 10 to the power of 10 at 0, right? Let's keep going. So now we in physical reality right here, right now. This is
Lunar Apollo. You got the Lunar Apollo in there. They have to put that one.
Yeah, the Apollo Lunar can be seen at 10 to the minus 1.
Yeah.
Now get this shit. They're trying to say that we can see that we should have been able to see the Apollo lunar module at 10 to the minus 1. That's here on fucking Earth. That's not on the moon. Average U.S. house. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Keep going. So again, I want you guys to remember that you couldn't see anything. Nothing could be confirmed at 10 to the minus 16. Okay? If you were at 10 to the minus 16, you couldn't see shit. 10 to the minus 18 is the furthest we can go. All right? So here we go. They're claiming that at 10 to the 6.9 power, all right, you can see the Earth, Titan, Mercury, the Moon, Mars, Io, Europa. I ain't never seen a Europa, okay? I ain't never seen Titan. I ain't never seen Mercury, all right? And look, they're saying you should be able to see all of fucking Asia at 10 to the minus 10 to the 7th power, right? Asia. This is crazy, dude. This is crazy. We're gonna keep going out because my point in doing this is this. If you can't see anything beyond 10 to the minus 16, we don't have the technology to see anything beyond 10 to the minus 18. Tell me how we somehow developed the fucking technology to see up into the sky, into fucking space, out in the universe, and they're claiming we can see shit that's light years away. Now, I want you to get this, right? They're saying that 10 to the 15.7, that's one fucking light year. One light year. You should be able to see the Hourglass Nebula at 1 light year, right? We all know nothing's fucking traveling at the speed of light. So light years is bullshit. Ain't nothing a light year away. It could be right in front of your fucking face. You wouldn't even know it. So here goes 10 to the 18.1. They're saying we have the capability to see all this shit right here with telescopes. I don't give a fuck. And listen, I'm not talking about the telescopes they claim are in space. I'm talking about the fucking observatories on the fucking ground. Observatories on the ground around the world that they claim have the technological capability to see all of this shit right here. Keep going. Keep going. I don't know about any of you, but I haven't seen one fucking real photo from any observatory on Earth that shows me this shit right here. 10 to the 20th power. The Sombrero Galaxy. The Milky Way. The Milky Way is supposed to be 10 to the 21st power. The Andromeda Galaxy. The distance Earth has traveled relative to the sun. At 10 to the 21st.9, 21.9. 10 to the 22. Look at this shit. This is incredible, dude. They're saying we can see shit out this far. If we can't see beyond 10 to the minus 18 on Earth, how the fuck can we see? This is the observable universe. They're saying theoretically we can see all of this shit right here. That's where it stops. It stops at 10 to the 21st, 27. 10 to the 27. That's what they're saying.
I see, yeah.
People, common sense. Common sense, people. Common sense. Layman's perspective. Okay? Layman's simple perspective. If James Gates is telling us, okay, the top theoretical physicist on Earth just told us that our technological limitation, minus 18, we stopped right there. We can't, nothing else, everything is just, we think that there's something else beyond this, but we're really not fucking sure. So we got to use bullshit stochastic calculus and mathematics to tell you we thought of this shit. So yeah, all these quarks and these strings and this quantum foam, this shit exists at 10 to the minus 35. Well, guess what? I'm gonna go any further. Robert and I are gonna go further. Okay, we can be physicists as well. We don't need PhDs. Robert and I think, okay, maybe I'm gonna say it's me. Robert's gonna maybe assume something else. I'm gonna say I think I can go to 10 to the minus 100. And I think a whole nother fucking universe exists down there. I can't fucking prove it, but I'm gonna write a paper about it. And I'm gonna dare anybody to debunk that shit. I'm gonna dare anybody to debunk it.
Yeah, I could go a few scales beyond what they're saying quite happily. Oh, yeah.
Dude, this shit is hilarious. I couldn't believe it, dude. I mean, when I looked at this, I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Oh no, this can't be real.
Yeah, it's real. Right.
You can see where they have to create virtual reality environments just to say, this is what we think may be occurring. This is what we may think is there. Ain't nothing there. Space is nothing but an empty, I don't know what the fuck it is. It might not even exist.
True.
Because based on what I found from the European Southern Observatory, where they shot a laser, a 22-watt laser up into the nighttime sky, and it hit of sodium atoms at 90 to 110 kilometers. The Kármán line supposedly is at 100 kilometers, right? Give or take. So when you look at the Kármán line, you got to ask yourself, wait a fucking minute. Something's not right here. No fucking way. If we cannot see beyond 10 to the minus 18, what makes you think you can see 10 to the 18? What makes you think we have the technological capability to see outward, but we can't fucking see inward?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm daring anybody. I dare anybody. I'll give you fucking $100. I have it transferred to your fucking PayPal. I dare any fucking body show me the documentation where we can see beyond fucking 10 to the 18 out into fucking space. Because if we can't do it on Earth 10 to the minus 18, damn sure. You better be damn skippy. We cannot fucking see beyond that.
Just imagine all the, you know, that distance they're saying they can look through, all that shit that would be in between that, you know, galaxies and, you know,
I don't give a
debris
shit.
and
They
shit.
say the
So much, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They can say, oh yeah, the Hubble is out there 330 fucking miles, or Chandra is further than that. Fucking prove it. You're supposed to have shit out there taking pictures of the Earth. So that's for number one, the epic. You're supposed to be taking pictures of the Earth from a distance, showing you a ball. Then if that fucking thing is out there, zoom that fucker in and bring it in closer and take a picture of fucking Chandra and Hubble. Because even if there's something 330 miles or 400 miles or 500 miles out in fucking space where there's supposed to be no fucking atmosphere, you still can't see fucking shit beyond fucking 10 to the minus 35. Millions of fucking light years.
No.
Fucking way. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Now, the next thing I'm going to do in the share screen to show you guys was what I just initially discussed with regard to more land. Now, we all know a ball, right? Let me know, Robert, when the screen is shown. This shit. Can everybody see it, Robert?
Yes, I'm just looking now. Yes, come up now. Yep.
Okay, so perfect. So don't get all in a fucking tissy fit because I'm showing you a ball. This is not what it really is. But here's what I want to show you. Okay. Now up here they show the vital signs of the planet. Now Robert and I were playing around with this the other day. This is your Earth. Okay. This shit is in real time, and the reason why I tell you it's in real time, let me put it in real time for you. This is the Earth right now in real time. Okay, as you can see the date down here, September 2nd, 2016 at 2:16 p.m. That's what time it is. It's actually 1:16 where I am, but my computer says 2:17 because I'm on Eastern Standard Time. Okay, I'm not really in Eastern Standard Time, I'm on Central Standard Time. But this is the Earth right now in fucking real time. All right, real time. Now, if you look here, I want you to pay close attention to this. This is North America. This is the United States. You got Canada up here. You got some ice and all that kind of shit, right? You got Greenland, right? Greenland. Now, up here is supposed to be a shitload of ice, the Arctic, right? Now, if you can see clear as day, you can see that Alaska doesn't fucking connect to Russia, right? You see this big hole here. And then you see all this water, and you see land over here. This is all of Russia, right? Now, when I go to sea level, when I click on the sea level view in real time, the last time sea level was done, the average sea level was in 2016, July of this year. Look at this shit. Let's blow this shit up. As you can see, that's the outline of the United States. You got Mexico, you got Latin and South America, all right? This is supposed to be sea level variations. This is all the water around the land masses, right? You can see the land masses very clearly. Let's zoom this shit out a little bit. Here's Africa. There's the Middle East, right? You got Egypt and shit. And yeah, that's United Arab Emirates, you know, Qatar, Bahrain, right? But get this shit. Check this out. Look at this shit. Look at all of this. This is fucking landmass. Where all of this is blacked out, because you can see United States is blacked out. Everything north of the United States, beyond Canada, okay? You got Alaska came up here, but look at this shit. All of this blackness, they're saying, NASA is saying, in July of 2016, this is all fucking land up here. All of this shit. All right, all of it. This is Europe. It goes Italy right here, right? You can see Italy, right? North Africa, you got some land up here. This is all water here. No, I'm sorry, my mistake, It's not water. This is all landmass. Because that's Italy right there. That's Italy's landmass.
You got the Mediterranean Sea below that.
There is land all up in here. All of this shit, look at this. This shit goes all the way down into the United States. Look at all this. You got Australia, right? You got New Zealand. You got Antarctica. But look at this. This is the United States. And there's a shitload of fucking land that they're not showing when we do this view. Here goes your view. That's all I did. Let me do it again. Okay, let me do this shit again. As you can see, there's landmass here, right? But it's all this shit's connected. I didn't change the position or nothing. There's a shitload of land all up in here. All of this shit. Now watch when I go back. There's supposed to be land masses here. You're supposed to see what you're supposed to see with NASA. This is eyes on the earth. Let me go back to it again. This shit. They don't think I'm trying to play any fucking tricks and no games. There's supposed to be some land masses in here, man. There's supposed to be, unless this shit is all underwater.
Yeah, it's either underwater or they're just purposely kind of doing that because, yeah, it means that there's, you know, otherwise you'd have.
You understand what I'm saying?
Otherwise you'd have all. You'd have the sea variation in the middle, wouldn't you? You'd have the sea variation all the way across.
Exactly.
And there is none.
Exactly. What I want everybody to understand is that the blackness is landmass. Okay? These colored areas, these greens, reds, and yellows.
That's where the sea
is whites
down over.
That is fucking water.
Yeah.
This shit is all land. So when we go back again, there's supposed to be motherfucking land all up in this shit. Look at this. We didn't see any of this shit. None of this. Let me get it off. Fuck. We didn't see any of this shit. None of this, bro. You want to know where the fucking extra land is at? That shit is all up in here somewhere. And according to that,
yeah, where all the water is, that's where they say, oh, you know,
there's
water.
Yeah, exactly. Now the other thing we wanted to show you was this, which we thought was strange as hell. We're gonna go to the telescope view, right? Now, I'm in Colombia, and I'm gonna show you something fucking interesting. Actually, you know, fuck it, we got a lot more people in the U.S., right? So let's do this. Let's just do this for argument's sake. We got a lot more people in the United States. So let me go to Houston, Texas. Okay? Now I'm gonna face north. I'm gonna go north. Look up at the upper left-hand corner. That's north. Now you are on a ball. Right now you're at 9 degrees elevation. Now, for any troll, they live on a spinning ball, okay? You need to look at this very carefully, because this ain't Robert Bassano and Robert Shortman telling you we created this shit to try to trick you. This is NASA. This is NASA's fucking software. We're facing north. We're in Houston, Texas. Now, if it was nighttime, you see the star, the constellations rotating counterclockwise. Okay? That's what you see. That's what you see. The fucking landmass ain't moving. So I want to make that shit straight right here, right now. The landmass ain't moving. I'm still trying to figure out how all this shit's flying around the sky, to be honest with you.
Same here, but it's...
But at 31.80 degrees north and 95.21 degrees west, okay? That 95.21, that's an interesting fucking number, because I developed a mathematical equation that gives me this shit, and it's interesting that just came up. But as you can see, the constellations, if I do this shit 10 minutes per second, all right? So you can get a good picture of it. As you can see, in Houston, Texas, on a flat plane fixed surface, the stars would be rotating counterclockwise, all right? That's 10 minutes per second, September. And because I'm doing 10 minutes a second, it's speeding the time up. It's at 10 p.m. This is what you would see tonight, okay? This is what you would see tonight. Now, let's change the location. Let's change the location. Let's be fair, all right? Because I sped that shit up. Let's put the light back on, all right? Let's put the light back on. Let's go to Robert. No, actually, no. We're in the north part, right? So let's go to say Buenos Aires. Let's go below the equator, okay? And let me face the orientation to north, right? Let me go up in elevation about 15 degrees, right? Let me take it to 10 meters per second. 10 minutes per second. As you can see, the stars are also, the constellations, the fixed constellations are rotating in a counterclockwise fashion. Now, we were in the northern part we were north in Houston. Now we're below the equator. Of course, you see different fucking stars. But you don't see all that different. You just, like, for example, you can end up seeing I think this is the Big Dipper, lower on the horizon at 15 degrees. Okay? Counterclockwise. Let's change the location again. All right? Just so that all these people who believe in a ball realize that we live on a fucking flat plane surface. All right? Let me get this shit back in real time again. And I'm going to be fair. Because if Rach Kate is listening, if she's listening, oh shit, don't slow down on me yet, dude. Let me go to Australia. Okay? Let me go to Australia. I don't even know where she is. Maybe she's in Sydney. Doesn't matter. So let me go to Australia. Okay? I'm on the other side of the flat plane. So this is Australia. Okay? I'm going to take this let me face it north. Let me go north orientation. Let me take it up elevation to 15 degrees. And let me take it to 10 minutes per second. Okay? As you can see, it's clear as nighttime. 10 meters a second. All right? The stars are rotating. If we all, no matter where you're at on the flat plane, if we all face north, I'm in Colombia, Robert's in UK, we got people in the United States. I don't give a shit where you're at in the United States. Australia, China, wherever. If you all face north, you're going to see the stars rotating in a counterclockwise fashion. And as you can see, looking at the Earth, this is the flat plane. It ain't moving. It's the stars that are moving. It's the constellation. The dome is rotating. Now, I'm hoping this shit got interesting. Robert, we're going to try this with Antarctica. Remember what we did before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So we're going to go to Antarctica, telescope view. All right. Now, this is some weird shit. This is where it got weird. Okay? Because we're facing north, okay? We're facing north. Now, here's the interesting thing that we're trying to make sense of. It looks like, and I'm theorizing here, okay? And because we're going to go to the Arctic as well. This is the Antarctic. That if the land masses and our waters are in the dead center of an equipotential expanding ellipsoid undergoing flattening, and we're in the center, we're fixed, okay? Remember, we're fixed. Then that means when you look at this NASA application and you see the fucking ground moving, because the ground is moving, all right? And I thought about this, Robert, after we talked yesterday.
Yep.
And it started to make sense to me why it would be moving. It's because Antarctica literally could be the outer ice perimeter, and that is moving with the constellations. Because when we go up where the regular land masses were, where there was vegetation, right? The constellations were also moving counterclockwise, but they were moving down on the horizon. When you look at this view, you're looking at the constellations literally moving across the sky in a horizontal fashion. The ice is rotating with the constellations. That's how I was able to make sense
If you
of
go
this.
to the peninsula, that was the same similar thing there, wasn't it, as well?
It was the same similar thing, dude. When we talk about thermodynamics and equilibrium, right? And when people say, you know, when we all seen those pictures they show, and you see this blue hue of horizon looking out from space at high altitude, what you're seeing is a cryo environment. You're seeing the cold air. You're seeing that static coldness out in the distance. The blueness you see with the sky, the blueness of the sky has to do with the ice. The sky is fucking blue because of what's happening on the outer ice shelf containing all of the land masses in the center. I'm not saying it's a circle. I'm saying it's an equipotential ellipsoid. That's what I'm saying. And it's fucking massive. It's massive. Now, some people are probably going to argue, well, shit, how do you explain the times of day? Are you trying to say that the time is different in Antarctica than it is anywhere else? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that somehow this shit is all moving together. We're not moving, we're fixed. Because I just showed you the other vegetation land masses, they were fixed. The stars are moving horizontal across the sky in a counterclockwise fashion. That's what we see here. And we're facing north. Now we're going to go to the Arctic, okay? We're going to go to the Arctic. Because remember, we were here. We were in here. And when we look at this, when you look at the vegetation, I can go anywhere. Shit, I can go to Mexico if you want me to. I go to Central America. The landmass was not moving. You can see it for yourself right now. Let me face north. The landmass is not moving at all. It's not moving. It's the ice making everything move. It's got to move. It's got to move to regulate the temperature. But we're going to go to the Arctic up here. There ain't no fucking ice up there, but we're going to try to get as best we can right here in the center. Because I think this may be it right here. All right. So I'm going to face this north as well. And I am hypothesizing based on 15 degrees. Now we're facing north. Now get this shit. If you don't see this, everyone should see this shit right now. Hang on a second. Hang on. We're north. We're supposed to be in the Arctic. The Arctic dome is turning in the opposite direction. Clockwise. Clockwise, people. So you got the Antarctic rotating hard. The stars are moving across the sky, right? In a linearized fashion, just like they were in the Arctic, except they're going in a clockwise fashion, where in the Antarctic, they were going counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. See, none of this shit in the Arctic is moving down towards the horizon. Everything's moving straight across the sky. So if we live on an equipotential ellipsoid and we're in the center of it, you got the bottom half of us rotating counterclockwise in a linear fashion, and you got the top end of the dome rotating clockwise. They're moving in opposite directions, maintaining fixed stationary stability of the solid land masses in the middle, but there's multiple layers. You got some the stars that we see from a horizontal view standing on the ground where we are, right? They're rotating counterclockwise, moving down the horizon. That's one layer. So wherever you're at on the flat plane, anywhere on the earth, everything's moving counterclockwise, moving down to the horizon. But when you go up to the Arctic, the top of the dome, the fucking top of the dome is moving clockwise. When you go down to Antarctica, it's moving counterclockwise in a linear fashion. So there you go. This ain't my fucking software. This is NASA software. This is NASA. And I think all the satellites are inside the fucking dome. They're all inside the fucking dome, moving around on fucking balloons. And they're being carried by the jet stream, by different layers of the winds that are moving around the earth. And to prove that to you, okay, to prove that to you, I'm going to take you to Earth Null School. I think that's what it is. Earth Null or some shit like that. Okay. I'm going to take you to this, and you're going to see it for yourself. Okay. Let's show the wind. Which one do I want to go to? Do I want to go to this one? Okay. So here we go. Let's see. Ocean particulates, temperature. Everybody disagrees with the AE, but I ain't gonna fuck with it. I'm gonna just go with this right now. Here goes the ocean. No, I don't want to do that. Do the air right now. Okay. All right. So when we look at this, right? When you look at how the satellites are moving around, right? You see all of these layers, you see all this wind, right? This is the wind right now moving. This is moving at serious high. I mean, the speeds that the jet stream, this wind is moving could be in excess of 10,000 miles an hour at high altitudes. There at high altitudes, it's going to get carried around, like, because everything's moving in a fixed elliptical orbit around the earth. You got shit coming, you know, of course, across certain places, but somehow that shit is jumping in here and getting carried by some of these streams. And just to give you an example, hold on a second. Give you an example. I'm here in Colombia. Let me do this. I'm gonna show you what it looks like in Medellin. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can do my location. Oh damn. No. Hang on a second. Okay. All right. So I'm up in here. Now you see how look what this wind looks like. Okay? You see how this wind looks the way it does? You get it, you get something 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000, 10,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds at high altitude on a high altitude balloon. You throw it up into the sky and let it catch one of these drifts.
That's it.
It's gonna propel it over to another area till it catches another area, and it's gonna keep going. Because it's in very low atmosphere, right? Drag. And if anyone thinks that a balloon can't travel like that, just go to Google Loons. Google actually has a balloon program. They're talking about delivering internet service to the world using balloons, jumping up and down, you know, at specific altitudes, offering internet service. Google Loons, Loons. Just look at that shit. Let me take you guys all the way in here to Medellin. Let's keep going, man. So the city that I live in is more like a bowl, right? It's more like a bowl. Literally, the city sits in like a crater. And if you see what the wind and shit is doing here, right? If you want to design your own weather satellite balloon program, then you start studying what this shit, what's happening. Because this shit is in real time. It gets updated every 3 hours. They're using high-end graphic processing units, GPUs. And every 3 hours, this shit gets updated. Every 3 hours, people. This is what it looks like right here in Colombia, what the wind is doing right now. Just to let you know. So when we look at these wind patterns, I ain't gonna fuck with it no more. It's eating up my battery, dude. Bro.
Yeah.
I don't know where else to go from there. Shit, we showed a lot of stuff.
I don't think not much where you can go. It
Go
really
ahead,
does
go
show-
ahead.
It shows how much, you know, nonsense NASA's putting out, and even the science community, once they get beyond a certain point, it's just pure guessing, and that's
It
what
is.
it's based on.
It's nothing but guessing.
But it's good. It's good. At least we showed it clearly.
It's nothing but guessing. I mean, come on. 10 to the minus 18 is our limit? Shit. You gonna tell me we can see things like tens of hundreds of millions of light years away? And we don't have the technological capability here on Earth to see anything beyond 10 to the minus 18? And it's just guesswork? So that means that all the shit that they're showing us from NASA, when they're saying, hey, we hear these radio signals far away.
100 light
They
years.
travel hundreds of light years, you know, from fucking some planet somewhere. Man, somebody had some ringing in their fucking ears that day, man. They must have had their fucking bell rung, bro. Because they didn't hear what they thought they heard. They could have heard somebody's fucking baby monitor or some fucking dog and cat squealing or some shit. It's crazy,
Yeah.
dude. All those pictures that they're showing us, things that they say, this is an Earth-like planet, this is what it would look like, here's Pluto, here's Uranus, here's Jupiter, here's Venus, all this other shit. I mean, when you go out beyond, you go from where you're standing right now, you go to any ground observatory, okay? And you say, okay, how far am I looking right now? and they tell you you're looking further than 10 to the 18, what? I'm looking how far? And at that moment, I hope I'm standing there with you when you ask them that question. I'll be like, listen, I don't give a shit how many PhDs you have, but you done lost your fucking mind. There ain't no way you showing me something that's 20 fucking light years away, 5 years light years away. Because according to Dr. James Gates, who's the top physicist on this planet, which you probably studied when you went to school, he's saying we don't have the technological capability to see anything beyond 10 to the minus 18. So how can we see in the opposite direction further than that? And they'll give you they'll be like, listen, this tour is over. You need to go. Somebody call security. That's probably what they'll say. Somebody call security. I can't say I don't understand this, but it's bizarre how we've allowed ourselves to go this long. I mean, I'm over 40 years old. I'm angry with myself. I didn't figure this shit out when I was in my 20s. I mean, I always questioned science. I always questioned it. But now that I'm over 40 years old, I'm thinking to myself, I got a 2-year-old, man. He's going to be 3 years old, you know, in 21 days. And as soon as he starts to read and learn this bullshit, Nico, Daddy got to talk to you. You're going to hear some really bad things in online on Daddy's YouTube channel, but you need to listen to it. And I'm going to let him make the choice.
Yeah, that's really
He's either
good.
going to carry on with the truth and let his teachers and instructors know, why are you teaching me these lies? Or he's going to say, you know what, Dad? You know, I'm going to carry on with the business. This is ridiculous, man. I mean, come on. You just can't believe this shit anymore. You cannot believe a goddamn thing NASA's going to say ever again. If they tell you, we found this, you know, it's 5 light years away, or they're telling you, hey, we found a new virus or gene or some sort of bacteria and shit, you know, that's so small or whatever. Really? Show me. And they'll be like, well, we didn't really find it. We just think it's there.
Yeah,
I mean, we live in a fucking phantom environment, dude.
It's so true.
Half of the shit they're telling us doesn't exist.
It's made it up. It's like climate science, isn't it? You know, make a problem, and then you can have a science for it.
Jaron was saying before. Yeah, I think it goes down to what Jaron was saying, that they made up the whole fucking climate change thing because they're worried about that ice melting out there in Antarctica where everything's rotating. If that shit opens up,
that's a big problem for them, man. Yeah.
You know, you got something out there that may come through people ain't gonna like. You know, or people want to go through and say, hey, there's an opening. Let's go out there.
Yeah, either way, they wouldn't want that.
I think that's what climate change is really all about.
Yeah, them trying to control it so they can control the fact and stabilize it.
And yeah, they're trying to control it. And now that we see, I'm not saying that we live on a completely flat disk, but when we just looked at that NASA Eyes software in real time, Antarctica and the Arctic were fucking rotating in a linear clockwise and counterclockwise fashion, which means that the top of the dome and the bottom half of it are moving in a linear fashion, clockwise and counterclockwise, and the center where we are is the flat disk. Someone put a video on my channel, says, hey, you should check this guy out. And he was showing some shit regarding Freemasonry and the pillars, where they showed sort of like an ellipsoid at the bottom locked in nets in a chain, meaning that the bottom half was locked up. You couldn't go there. And the top half, on top of it, was a flat disc with a dome over top of it. And he hypothesized that this is probably what the Earth looks like. That the bottom half of it is inaccessible. You can't drill beyond 8 fucking miles. You go into the ocean, you hit some impenetrable barrier you can't go beyond.
That's it. You start going into the different realm then once you go beyond that. The same above.
Exactly. They can't get a human being to the very bottom of the fucking Marianas Trench. safely, but they claim they can get astronauts for fucking 200, 300 miles into space. If you can't get down to the bottom of the ocean, what makes you think you can get the fuck up into space? Well, because it's easier? No, John F. Kennedy said it perfectly. We choose not to do things that are easy, but we choose to do them because they're hard. Isn't that what he said? Well, if you want to choose what's doing hard, get your ass down to the bottom of the ocean first.
Yeah.
I mean, SpaceX just had a fucking rocket blow up. It didn't even go anywhere. Mark Zuckerberg's pissed as hell because he probably spent 20, 30 fucking $million
On a big firework. Yeah.
and it just fucking exploded, dude, right there in Florida.
That was an expensive firework.
So what makes you think SpaceX has ever been able to get any fucking thing off the launch pad, dude? What makes you think that we actually went to the moon or went out any fucking where on a fucking put humans on a rocket, bro?
Absolutely nothing. It's so funny.
It's been over 50 years, 60 years, man. You would think that all this practice.
Oh yeah.
You would think that with all this science and all this practice of getting the shit perfect, making sure that rocket science was absolutely down pat, all the equations, the designs, if you wanted to fucking launch up into space, you had to go through NASA to say, hey, can we get this? We'll pay to license it. Government's already licensed our software and fucking technology shit. So why not license the shit out to these private companies and say, hey, just so you don't blow us the fuck up, here goes the designing a rocket that you think could be similar to this, and we'll give you a contract. But instead, they still putting shit out there on the fucking launch pad in Florida. All they did was just flip the fucking switch and the fucking $50 million gone. $100 million just blew the fuck up. And you want to expect that you putting 5 to 7 fucking people on this same fucking rocket to launch them up above 100 kilometers? Come on, man. It's been 60 fucking years. You would think if I've been trying to figure out to design something for 60 fucking years, wouldn't you think that in 60 years I would fucking make it perfect?
It's not going to fucking blow up, and it'd have so many redundancies.
And it's not going to fucking explode, dude?
Yeah, exactly. It's probably a good.
I mean, come on, bro.
They probably didn't want to really launch. They didn't want to fire it up into the atmosphere and arc it over. So a much easier way of getting away with saying to Facebook would be say, "Oh, sorry, it blew up." So it's probably NASA trying to get out for the Facebook contract, isn't it?
Look, if anybody wants to doubt what it is I'm saying, just look at my video titled "Tyranny of the Rocket Equation." No human has ever left the Earth, because Don Pettit, former astronaut of NASA, says it. What the problem is with fucking rocket technology and rocket science? You got to have 93% fuel, and the heavier the payload, you get into a realm where shit. If you're trying to carry something like the Hubble Space Telescope or Chandra, which was twice the weight, twice the fucking mass of Hubble, 50,000 fucking pounds. You got to have 93% fuel, and you're carrying something of twice the fucking weight of Hubble into space. You really want me to believe that shit is there? That must have been one big fucking space shuttle. Come on, man. I didn't do the videos on this shit. I don't need to argue this stuff anymore. The videos speak for themselves.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if anybody says, oh, I got a friend who's an astronaut. I spoke to him. You know, he told me what he saw. Give a fuck what he said he saw. He was just instructed to strap your ass down, sit down, shut the fuck up, and enjoy the journey. You ain't going nowhere. We're putting your ass to sleep, just like anesthesia. You know how when you go there, I've had surgery. They tell you, okay, count down from 10. You know, I had back surgery. Man, I got to fucking 7, dude, and I was gone. When I woke up, I was counting. I started off where I left off. I was like 6, 5, 4. The fucking anesthesiologist says, hey, you're done. You're done. What? Shit, how long was I gone, dude?
Yeah.
Astronauts, man.
Instant. Yeah. They'll make it quick for them, wouldn't they? And they just say, oh, well, there you go. Now you just have to deal with the underwater simulation through the weeks.
This guy, I'm looking at the chat right now. This guy, Renee Ibralucia, he says Hubble is Sophia on the 740. Yeah, I know it. Hubble is Sophia. I'm the one who did the video. I made the phone call. I called the Hubble Space Telescope deputy program manager and the fucking guy who's Nicholas Veronico, the head of Sophia. I was the first one who did that. I was the only one who did that shit. Put my ass out there. Hubble is Sophia, and so is Chandra too. Matter of fact, Sophia, the guy even says, Nicholas says that they have at least 7 different instruments. It takes them, I think, he says 2 or 3 days to switch out the instruments on the 747 so they can do different types of celestial measurements, infrared, whatever the fuck they're looking at. Period. So when they talk that they have 7 different instruments, that means, okay, that they got fucking Hubble, they got Chandra, they got every fucking space telescope you could ever imagine. They got that motherfucker on the 747. Then you're not gonna be able to go on the website and search the shit and see the comparison because they already renamed the shit. They renamed it. But I guarantee you look at the technical specifications, it's identical to what the shit they claim that is out there in space. They claim they spend over $1 billion on. They spend $1 billion. Here's the irony of all this shit. They say they spent $1.5 billion for Hubble, right? You know how much it costs for Sophia? $1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. That's a magic fucking number for them.
Yeah, it's a quick one. They can throw it out, and then that shuts everyone up because it's a big number, and they say, "Oh well, you know."
All of this evidence, all of this proof is in plain sight. This shit is all in the numbers, all in the mathematics, all in the data. You start doing the comparative analysis, you'll see, holy shit. Like the one guy who was on Bob's show who said that when he called up NASA, they told him that things that he wanted to look up in the sky, they were coordinating with the observatories on the ground. What the fuck? Coordinating with the observatories on the ground. Oh, so that definitely proves they ain't shit up there. They ain't nothing up there. Nexus Ninja asked me, did I go to CERN? Hell no, I ain't go to CERN, man. People been telling me all kinds of crazy shit that might happen to me if I go there. Probably never come out. They probably teleport my ass somewhere else so I can shut the fuck up. If I do go, I'm gonna have to go with a group of people, man. Fuck it. Because if I get fucking teleported somewhere else, I at least want to have some people I can talk to. Where the fuck I'm gonna end up? Whatever the hell I'm gonna end up. Dude, this is crazy what we did, man. Yeah, I couldn't believe we did shit like this. And tomorrow, when we do tomorrow's show, everybody think I'm gonna be bashing fucking religion. I ain't gonna be bashing religion tomorrow. No way, dude. I ain't touching that. There ain't no such thing as religion. But I'm not even gonna go there on that. We're talking about other things. We're questioning everything.
Yeah.
We're questioning everything. Questioning everything, man. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Robert, you wanna share anything? You wanna share? Show them something?
No,
it's up to you, bro.
Pretty much fantastic. Yeah, you covered everything I was thinking of in relation to that. Totally.
Yeah, I'm putting the James Gates for the YouTube link where he says our technical limit is at 18. So in the future, when you guys start talking about Polaris and all these stars being fucking light years away, you better fucking retract that shit and correct yourself. Because shit, you ain't seeing nothing. You've never seen anything beyond 10 to the 18 or 10 to the 16 out in the sky. They are lying to us every day, taking your money. If you work a 9 to 5, you working your ass off paying your taxes, they are sitting back laughing their asses off in the Washington, D.C. metro tri-state area, eating them fucking fat-ass juicy steaks at Morton's Steakhouse, laughing about how much of your damn tax money they didn't put in their pocket and gave to their contracting buddies. That's what they did. Yeah. That's what they did. Look at and you know what? People should start paying attention to the countries that don't have space programs or their own satellite program. It's not because those countries are poor. I want you to get that shit straight right now. Brazil's got a space program. They actually build rockets and shit like that for Ukraine. They got a partnership with Ukraine. They're right across the border from me, east. But the rest of the countries in Latin and South America, they don't have no their own satellites. It's not because they're depending on the U.S. for that shit. They know something. And what they know is this. There ain't no fucking satellites in fucking space. What the fuck do we need to look at the land for? We can put a fucking airplane up in the sky and take pictures of the ground to do surveying and geographic mapping. We don't need fucking anything out in space. I mean, think about this shit, man. Colombia found in their own country 10 years ago they didn't even know existed. There's land in Colombia they found 10 years ago they didn't even know existed, and it's so precious that they actually they classified it as a protected national park in Colombia. Nobody even knew this shit was even there, bro.
Wow, didn't know that.
What does that tell you about satellites, man?
It says that
What does that tell you about the cooperation between Colombia and the United States when Colombia can't even know how much land they fucking have? Think about that shit.
Yeah, because if they had all that data, then they would have looked and thought, oh yeah, look at the extra land we've forgotten. How stupid, and slapped themselves, wouldn't they? They would have just thought, oh look, shit, they've just discovered it and walked upon it and thought, wow, we've just found a new area. We better add that to the map. You know, it's very kind of.
I mean, that's what's happening. It's fucking crazy, man. There ain't no satellites, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's no satellites. I'm just saying they're not at hundreds of miles above us.
No, I mean, I had the same thing when I phoned up that chap. You know, he couldn't answer where the satellites are. He couldn't answer why they couldn't take certain pictures in certain areas.
Yeah.
So that just said
when they say they can't take pictures in certain areas, it's probably because there's so much fucking land that they're not telling us about. They don't have anything that can get there and come back. They actually deliver the fucking picture. Think about that. I mean, you were in Antarctica, Robert. Think about how you can't take a nonstop flight to literally go from one end of Antarctica where you were on the British station to, say, McMurdo, which is on the other side. Think about that. Think about why it takes 3 flights.
Yeah, that's true. That's weird.
And at the Halley station to get to Concordia, which is supposed to be in the smack dab middle of Antarctica. You can't fly nonstop round trip from Halley to Concordia and back. You got to jump 3 flights just to get there, and 3 flights back. So how big does that tell you how Antarctica is? It tells you it's fucking massive.
Yeah, much bigger than what they're saying.
Massive. Conditions at Concordia are more extreme than being on the ISS. Now, I looked over that data again because I got the information from the Italian Space Agency's website.
Yeah.
They say almost 200, about 200 degrees below zero. That's Fahrenheit, of course. Yeah. They said the temperature can get that low. Now, guess what dawned on me when I read that information? That when I had that phone call with that girl, when I asked her what the temperature was on the ISS, and she says it's minus 200 to plus 220. I'm like, holy shit. That fucking thing ain't up there. How the fuck could the temperature be the same as it is on the ground on Earth? In Antarctica.
Yeah.
In Antarctica, bro.
She's quoting in Fahrenheit, yeah.
Go out there. Astronauts are actually sent to the Concordia station anywhere between 3 to 6 months before they actually launch.
Didn't know that. Wow.
They go down there to get acclimated. How the fuck do you go to Antarctica to get acclimated for fucking space travel? They say it in the literature, man. Wow. It's in the Space Agency's literature that they go down there to get acclimated before they launch. You know how many fucking meat lockers I know in fucking the meat packing district in New York where you just go see that motherfucker for 3 months? You ain't got to go to Antarctica.
No, that's it. You could.
They're in New York, man.
You're so right. They're minus 40 plus kind of thing. So you could easily.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
You could easily simulate that situation. You wouldn't need to go to that. And then they have facilities which are like a lot larger than that, and got windows and lights and electric and all that can do even colder. So why they'd need to go to there to do that particularly? That's a mystery in itself, isn't it? Wow. And
the temperature is so fucking perfect on the ISS, dude. You don't ever see no condensation. It ain't never really fucking hot on that motherfucker. They ain't ever sweating on that son of a bitch.
Yeah, rubbish.
Never sweat. You'll never see no sweat glistening off of their forehead or nothing, bro. You don't see no deodorant marks under their fucking shirts. Nothing. Their shit is perfectly pressed. Their clothes are perfect. Now, there people gonna say, well, because they're in microgravity, so nothing wrinkles. Bullshit, dude. They gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, they strap themselves to the bed. They're gonna be crushed up, aren't they?
Oh man, this shit is all coming crashing down real fast, dude. I'm waiting for the next person to come up with something that's gonna blow everybody away, man. I really do. Everybody, with regard to the technological capability, if there's anybody out there that still believe we live on a ball, man, I will start a crowdfunding effort, man, for you to go get psychological help. But something new we did realize, Robert, based on the conversation you and I had privately yesterday, was that there's an upper and lower dome, and Antarctica is moving linear in a counterclockwise fashion, and the Arctic is moving in a clockwise fashion. So there is a top half and a bottom half, and we're in the middle, fixed and stationary around us. The ice is moving, dude.
Ice is moving, and I also think that there is those layers. There's those layers up there, and then there's those layers once you get down to a certain level within the ground or within the water. No different.
And it's got to make sense. Exactly, it's got to make sense that Antarctica has to be some outer ring moving really fast, because get this: when you were down there, right? What was like the highest wind speed that you experienced?
Oh god, the wind there. Yeah, the wind was really heavy, quite heavy actually. Most of the time it's the biggest I had. It was 85 mile an hour.
Because some of the data I looked at on National Science Foundation, they said that the winds hit like over 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, they can.
But that's like in the extreme winter times, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some days you wouldn't go out, and if you did, it was a nightmare.
That's representative of being on the ground moving real fucking fast, bro. That is representative of being on the ground moving real fast, like on a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Bro?
Yeah. It could be with the wind. So, I mean, where do you have such extreme winds like that? You'd thought you'd have.
That's the only way. That's the only way. And when you get increased pressures, right? You increase the pressure. Say the pressure increased from the top of the dome, and it started pushing the air down. You increase the speeds in the wintertime, you get high winds, it gets real fucking cold, right?
Yeah.
The ice builds up so that you can turn on the air conditioner, so to speak. That could explain the season changes, man. Increased pressures.
Yeah, plain air conditioning.
That could explain it. I don't know, man. I mean, we gotta figure out how to create a model, man, a software model to illustrate how all this shit works. But I just showed everybody on NASA Eyes, there's more land, okay, up north of Canada, that's linking Canada to North America to Russia, right? They don't show it on the maps, but there's a shitload of more land up there. So now I'm gonna start tracking. I'm gonna start going on Flight Radar 24 to see what's actually flying up in that area, because I've actually seen planes fly up above Greenland and then they disappear off the Flight Radar 24, and then they reappear when they hit most of the landmass in Canada. Check that shit out, dude.
Wow, I'll have to look at that.
Check it out.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that's really strange.
But listen, man, I want to thank everybody for coming in, listening to us. You saw what we saw.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
We showed it to you as well for the first time. Of course, Robert and I had a pre-look at to begin with in the first place to do this hangout. But yeah, feel free, share that video, mirror it, do whatever the hell you want to do with it. Let everyone know. I want to thank everybody. And again, people, like I said, my motto is not what you know, it's what you can prove. Take care. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock sharp. All right. That's when we're doing the next show. It'll be me, Robert, John, and Vivian, Lucas, Marcus, and Deval. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun tomorrow. All right. Take care, people. Be safe. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. Peace out.